Fans, welcome back. This is not Working Fans Wednesday. This is the Working Fans Podcast. You have heard us over the last couple weeks hype up the Lance by Chance book, Wrestling As A Von Erich. And now we would like to introduce you to author Vinny Berry, who helped write the book with Lance. Vinny, how are you doing tonight?
Welcome.
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Hey, thank you very much for joining us. Since we first talked to you, we had talked to you before the book came out. Now the book is out. I am most of the way through reading it. How has it been since the book's out? Because I know you have that anticipation when you write the book and you wait for it to be released. What is it like that it's now that it's out there for everybody?
Well, it's a good feeling, knowing that it's out and people are reading it. I'm excited that people have it. I'm excited to hear the feedback when people tell me, "Hey, man, this was my favorite story," or I've had several people come to me and said they've binge read the book. Now people are a lot of people are posting on Facebook, "I read the book in a day," or "I read the book in the day and a half," and now I'm getting all these private message. "Hey, how many pages is this book?" It's like, how thick is this book? And it's almost 240 pages. And the thing is that it's an easy read. A lot of people are saying it's an easy read. It's a fun read. It's interesting. It's captivating, and I can't ask for a better compliment than that.
Hey, I want to ask you something. This not to change the subject, but I never asked you this when we talked before, and I was just thinking about it now. Have you had the chance to watch any of Ross and Marshall Von Erich, or seen any stuff with them recently?
I watched a little bit with them, but I would say recent. I don't know when the last match it was of them that I've watched, but I haven't seen their latest stuff. Matter of fact, I know still there's a lot of promotions and circuits that aren't running right now, and so I really don't know what their promotion's doing, honestly.
They just started up again last week, so we might see them soon. To me, it was always kind of cool just to see them, another generation of Von Erichs, because growing up watching that wrestling, and I know you growing up such a hardcore, you were right there in Texas. I don't know. I just it must be kind of cool, to see their sons doing well. I guess Kevin's sons. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've like I said, I have watched them. I haven't watched a ton of them. It's I can't tell you why. Well, probably because I've been busy writing a book.
Right. And probably holding down a job and working.
Yeah. But I got somebody told me the other day or yesterday, and I was blown away by this compliment. He said, as far as books on the world class promotion, he said that my book was tied with Gary Hart's as far as honesty of what was going on in the promotion at that time. And man, I'll tell you, I have not read Gary Hart's book. I've heard a lot of good things about Gary Hart's book. There's not very many copies. I think he did one run and then he passed away. And so, for my name to be mentioned in the same sentence with, Gary Hart's book, that makes me feel pretty good, because that's what we wanted to do. We wanted it to be a respectful book, but there's a lot of hard truth that happened up there in that promotion, and they weren't all playing bingo and skipping rope. It was a lot of tragedy happened up there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of honesty in the book, especially from Lance's part, as far as kind of not being faithful to his wife, the drug use, and he doesn't glorify it. He doesn't, it's just kind of an honest depiction, it sounds like, of what somebody went through.
Sure. Talking about, I've thought about that many times. why I was writing the book, and his honesty, about his failed marriages and his unfaithfulness, and he just came out and said, hey, I really had no business being married. I was too immature, I was too young. They deserved better than me. And he does come off very honest. And there's a lot of things in the book where uh, that I kind of struggle with talking about or telling. And I talked with my wife about it, and a very close friend of mine, and they were said, look, this really happened. This stuff really happened. Don't whitewash it. Be honest as you can with it, and tell the story. And really, what the book. The book tells a story about Lance's life, and it tells a story of the promotion. It covers the death of Gino Hernandez, David Von Erich, the Carey's title win, Mike's suicide, Lance leaving, and covers all that, right? But it also talks about how wrestling was run back then, and how the promotions worked back then, and how the champions worked back then. And I think people would be really interested to see, it was about that turnstile turning. It was about putting those names on the marquee. It was about having a champion that can carry the belt and go night after night after night after night. And it was about making money.
And it was interesting, like when he talked about going to Portland, you got to see kind of how a promoter will send a wrestler to another territory to kind of get some ground underneath him until he's ready to bring him in.
Sure. And back then, what I had no clue, and it made sense after I was talking to David Manning, because I noticed that there was when I was watching wrestling when I was younger, there was a lot of wrestlers from World Class that had been in Portland, or guys from Portland that had been in World Class. And what I found out from David Manning was that back in the day, back in that era, of territorial wrestling, there was like a trading system. Hey, we'll give you Brian Adidas for Rip Oliver, or hey, let's we'll give you Mr. Ebony, and you guys can have Tom Zink or whoever, whatever, Billy Jack Haynes, and they kind of rotated. They brought guys in, and that's why you saw new people. You're like, oh man. Buddy Landell came down here to World Class for a little while. Billy Jack Haynes was down here for a little while, and Billy Jack Haynes wasn't here for a long period of time. He was probably maybe like 3-week run or something like that. When he came to Dallas. So, but for a young kid to read about those guys in the magazine, and then to have them come on your television show and watch them for a couple matches or something, that was pretty good, but now I understand how that works.
I just heard Tony Schiavone talking about this on this podcast today, about how the exact same thing you said, how it was super cool. They were looking at one of the Starcades, and I think it was 86, but it was like so great to see these wrestlers coming from territories that you only read about in magazines back then, because you didn't have the internet, obviously. So it was like, oh, well, I read about this guy, and now he gets on your TV. And what a great way to keep everything fresh, right? You're trading, so nobody gets stale, too. So,
right, yeah, and it gives an opportunity for a different experience for that wrestler, or But it's really good for the fans, right? Because back then, I lived in an area where there was no cable. So I wasn't getting wrestling if it didn't come on my regular rabbit ears. I didn't, and the only wrestling I really got for the most part was World Class Wrestling. So, when they brought in these different wrestlers, oh man, I remember Mad Dog Vachon wrestled in a squash match on the Sunday morning show, and I just thought that was awesome. It was like, oh my gosh, because I've read about this guy in magazines, but I've never seen him wrestle. And there he was. I didn't get to see it in person, but I got to see him wrestle a match on the show. So, things like that, to see different names come in, that was a big deal.
I just want to take out a second to shout out a couple people watching. Jordan Garber up in Canada. Thank you. Tyler Peters, member of the AE family. Thank you. Now, Vinny, I got a question for you because I saw on Facebook this morning that Lance has started doing interviews.
I don't know if I think he's done already.
Oh, really? He's one and done?
Well, he's agreed. All right. So he did one this week. It aired today. So he did one. We recorded it on Sunday with the Can Crushers podcast. Those guys are out of Pennsylvania. They work very closely with OVW and Al Snow. And they here's what happened with that. I've been asking Lance to come on every time, give him a few days notice, and times never really worked out, and honestly he hasn't really been interested. So I've been sending that was my recent podcast. I went ahead and sent it to him, and about an hour later he said, wow, that was pretty good, and I like those guys and I like the questions. And there was a guy on there that said that he read my book, and he said, I like the guy that said he read the book. And he goes, I'll do a short one with those guys. So we set it up, and it went about an hour.
Wow.
And so I hit him up last night to talk to him for one more. Somebody else hit me up, and is the one I did before, the John. I'm not gonna even try to pronounce his last name, but from the 2-Man Power Trip.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so that's scheduled for Friday, but I had to do a little arm twisting on that one. And so honestly, the speaking and the coming out and talking, it's really not his deal. I think he's doing me a favor by helping me promote the book, and he sent me a message, say, look, I really don't want to do it, but I will help you. I will do it. And so, I think it is going to help. And I think I think people are eager to hear what he has to say. I think he came off very well. I didn't think he was, it seemed like for not doing something like that for so long, he almost did miss a beat. I don't know if you guys listened to it yet. I listened to a little bit of it. I haven't listened to the whole thing. Have you listened to it yet, Dave?
No.
I have. We both just got out of work and then get home for this. I was gonna put it on tonight before I check out.
I'm interested. Yeah, he's such an honest guy, and honestly, it's weird because I'm sure it'd be really cool if he was willing to do more of these. But it's almost something more intriguing to me about the fact that he doesn't want to do these. Like, he's not attracted to that limelight. So he's just, you're getting a really raw, honest perspective from him. So I'm really super
right. And I don't put a lot of like the other night, when we were setting up this first one, I told the guys, I said, listen, don't get your expectations up until it's recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think you got it until you get it, because he's pretty good with following through with what he says he's going to do, but I know deep down he really doesn't want to do it. And when I hit him up for last night, like I said, I felt like I had to do a little arm twisting, but we set it up for Friday, and we'll just take it day by day and see how it goes. But honestly, I was kind of thinking today as I was preparing for this, is like, at this point, how many does he have to do? I mean, seriously, I mean, if you listen to the one, it's pretty honest. That's one thing he doesn't mince on. If he doesn't want to answer the question, I mean, nobody's really hit him up with anything that, I mean, he's pretty good about answering whatever,
Yeah.
But he's the type of guy that, there's no gray area with him. You know where you basically know where you stand with him. It's like, he even mentioned in the podcast that I get on his nerves sometimes. So.
It's funny. Like you said that, like, don't count anything until it's recorded. I can tell you, from me and Joe's perspective, doing podcasts for a little over a year now, nothing's done until it's done.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I mean, because things come up, and you have good guests and people who follow through, and sometimes people who don't follow through, but sometimes things just happen. So until it's done, it's not done.
And plus with Lance, it's like we would have liked to have him on the show, but when you said he wasn't much of a talker, it's like, if the guy doesn't want to talk, almost like why make him? Like, you get his stories in the book. And
no,
he doesn't need the fame is, I think, the wild thing. It's like he got put into this place and he got one of the biggest breaks in wrestling. And, I think he just enjoys the time he had and there's no need to over savor it.
I think you said it best just by saying that. I think he enjoyed especially overseas. I know he enjoyed his time overseas. He says, he says in the book, that Dallas wasn't a good time for him, right? But I think the pressure that he was on there and the schedule that he was working and the fatigue that he experienced, and trying to keep up with that pace, I think it was a little too much for him, and so he wasn't real happy there, but he found out that different places were a little different, and he learned to adapt, and maybe the pressure was off him when he was overseas,
and when you talk to him, like when he talks about Israel, how can you hear how much he loves the country? Because that's the one thing that kind of came through in the book to me, is that he seemed to have a good time over there and seemed to really make friends.
Absolutely. I don't know if he so much loves the country or if he loves the people. I mean, he was really well accepted. They treated him very, very well over there. At one time, I think he had a home there. And he has a lot of friends there. He still visits. He still goes back. He keeps in contact with a lot of the friends that he met in 1986, his very first tour over there. And he only spent a week over there,
Wow.
And he made lifelong friends out of there. And so, it's Israel's a very special place to him. Of course, I don't know why he fell in love with it so much, but yes, you can read that in the book. Absolutely.
Yeah, you really get the feeling that the two friends that he made over there, what was it, Judith and I can't remember her brother, Ephraim. I thought that you can hear, like, it just seems like he talks so warmly about him when he does talk about them.
Israel seems like they had such a passion for world class too. To hear Ross and Marshall were on the show one time too, and they're talking the stories from Kevin talking about how overwhelming it could almost be, just because they were just so popular in that region of the world.
Right, absolutely. Well, and what Lance found out also too is that Israel, because of that Sunday morning show, that World Class Championship Wrestling show that ran on Channel 39 on Sunday morning, it was aired on the Christian Broadcasting Network. It went to Lebanon, and I don't think it was intended to go to Israel, but a signal picked up the show in Israel, and that's how Lance's friends were watching it, and they'd been watching it for years. And so when they said, "Oh yeah, we've been watching these people and these guys, and we know this, this angle and this story and these gimmicks and all this," and he was really amazed that, wow, they are really in tune to to this show and to this product.
Now, Vinny, I got to ask you, the Kevin Von Erich quote on the book, how big a get was that to be able to get Kevin to contribute something to the book, since it sounds like he wasn't the biggest fan of Lance?
Yeah, he wasn't really big on the idea of Lance coming in.
Yeah.
You know, when you know, I think they had a decent working relationship, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think that they were buddies, you know, as like him and Kerry were buddies. And
Oh. Dave, I think that internet went out.
Oh, no. I don't know if you can hear us, though. We're live, pal. Randy, first off, I got a second. Yes, my haircut is sweet, and AJ's handing out turkeys at the cheese.
I thought he was handing out cheesecakes.
Oh, yeah, he's handing out cheesecakes at the turkey factory. The cheesecake
at the turkey factory.
Yeah.
Dave, I think if I'm thankful for one thing this year, and this isn't going to be included in tomorrow's episode, is that at least we have the ability to bounce back and recover live.
Yeah.
We just lost Vinny Berry.
He's a great man. I was enjoying this conversation.
Yeah, we didn't even get into half of what we were going to talk about.
No, I started that off. I took a left. I wanted to ask him about Ross and Marshall, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to ask him now. And I figured it'd be short-lived, and we just spun everywhere.
I know.
But I kind of liked where it was going, actually.
Yeah, we're going to give him a couple more minutes to come back. So if anybody's got any questions. Oh, Randy's got a question.
No maple bread. Yeah, that's something we'll ask Vinny Berry, Randy. No.
All right. Randy is pumped for MLW tonight. I mean, I think we talked earlier about how we're excited for it. I will be writing an article at some point tomorrow. Truth be told, when this broadcast ends, I'm going to go down to Chiefs in the burnt basement in Waterford and going to be hanging out.
Look out, Randy. This guy's trying to get a writing job over here. With he's got the side door open. Don't think he doesn't, Randy.
Oh, no. We'll still be bringing you this podcast.
Hey, Randy, if AJ keeps not showing up, you might have a spot, brother. So.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out who the fourth man is.
Who's the fourth man?
So, Dave, even though we're not carrying on with our usual format, let's take down the banner for author Vinny Berry here.
Let's promote his stuff real quick. Tell people where we can find his shit.
Yeah, the book is Lance by Chance, Wrestling As A Von Erich. You can find it at lancebychance.com. As you heard him say, there are autographed copies available. It's a sticker. Or it's a label. Don't worry about it. All right. Randy wants me to send him he wants my Twitch so he can watch the game stream. That is Fans Working. And it does not seem like Vinny Berry will be back because his phone decided to run an update.
Okay. Well.
So that's Fans Working on Twitter, Randy.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, me too.
Randy. Oh, yeah. Shockwave. That was another.
Yeah.
When did the news drop on Shockwave? Yesterday?
Yeah. Randy broke the news to me, actually. I went to go look it up. Randy was talking about the NWA coming back. So.
Oh, God. Randy's your news source.
Randy is the man in the field right now, baby. He's bringing me the updates.
He's literally the man in the field.
The maple bread, the AJ. He's letting me know what's up.
He's hoeing and knowing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what was I going to say, too? We should try, a little cat out of the bag here. I got to try to reach out to Mr. Tim Storm again now that we're going to have NWA back. I wouldn't mind having Tim. I happen to know for a fact that I've seen a few shows. Tim's got a pretty damn good internet connection too, so you could be a good guest on this show.
If we got the balls, we could bring back Sal Renaro.
I don't have.
Just start off by apologizing to him.
I love Sal, but yeah, the internet was tough, so we'll figure it out.
All right, guys. I mean, Vinny's gone, so
Vinny's gone. So you know what that means, guys. We're gone.
That means Randy's gonna be watching NXT because AEW is taped.
Well, don't spoil it for me, Randy, because I don't know either show, and I get to stay up late tonight. All right, I got the day off tomorrow, son.
Wow,
right.
I'm surprised that does a show being taped really affect how anybody watches a show? Like, would you watch something versus something else because it was taped? Because for me, I always just kind of go right to AEW and then I catch up on NXT. That's just my personal choice.
Yeah, it depends on your viewing habits. For me personally, nah. I mean, like I like both shows. I try to watch them. So I have 2 TVs because I love them both so much.
Because you're balling like that.
I want to be part of the Wednesday night experience. I want the family in here. But the only thing that would affect me potentially is if there was a spoiler and I saw it. You know what I mean? That could lean me one way or another if I didn't have a second TV or anything. But for the most part, no. You know what I mean? Like if it's taped but I haven't read anything or seen anything, I'm down. And that could also be the opposite too. Like the Mick Foley thing back in the Monday Night Era. Like if it was taped, but I know something super cool happened, I'm like, oh, I want to see that. Yeah. Oh, ladder match. Okay.
All right, that's always good.
Yeah.
I am personally pumped for MLW. I don't know if I will be watching that live. I will probably watch the replay. And then obviously AEW. And NXT sounds like a good shot now.
I'm hungry. I think we gotta sign off. I gotta get some McDonald's or something.
I know, I'm hungry. I'm tired. Guys, we're gonna let you go. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. And you know, we got an episode coming out tomorrow morning. You ain't got shit to do. You ain't got work.
Oh, watch the podcast. Listen to it. Whatever you want to do. I don't care. You can watch it too. I don't know.
Yeah, watch this while you're listening to tomorrow's episode. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Just listen, watch, and go to manscaped.com.
Yeah, shave your nuts too.
Code WFP2020. Please. We need some people to cash in that code so AEE knows that we're not fucking around.
Dollar bill, y'all.
And guys, we will talk.
Pay me.
We will talk to you later.
See you guys. All right.